Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another Business Breakthrough Google Hangout. It's Glenn Dietzel here, and I am editor-in-chief of Lifestyle Entrepreneur magazine, and we've kept our Google Hangouts open to you at no charge because of our magazine, which is the sponsor of our Business Breakthrough Google Hangout. And if you've been following what we've been covering over the last several weeks, I've been providing you direct assistance on how to invert your business funnel and how to begin to understand how to pitch coaching, consulting, and training deals using a completely different process than just about every so-called guru and expert teaches in this industry. The industry of high-end programs and services is filled with a lot of hype, and it's filled with a lot of people that are really just motivational speakers. At the end of the day, do not provide the kind of assistance that we all need, right, in knowing how to learn and understand a new set of core competencies or specialized skills in order to truly communicate our value, beginning with messaging what we do uniquely and leveraging our competitive advantage. And it's really crucial that you know how to frame and build your competitive advantage, and then following a 10-step consultative process that really leverages how do you tie in what you do around the biggest trends that are going on in your industry, how to stay at the forefront of those trends, how to build a better problem before you build a better mousetrap, and really how do you assert your authority and credibility at the forefront of so much noise in the marketplace today. As having run and built a company from scratch 12 years ago, I am a former vice principal of an elementary school. I was an elementary school teacher, no formalized sales training, certainly no MBA, and having built a company from scratch into one of the fastest growing coaching, consulting, and training companies. And I don't say that to toot my horn or anything, other than I've done it by leveraging and really working with clients in a way that most people refuse to do that. And one of those ways is in opening up one of our homes and allowing leaders in coaching in the consulting and training industry and those that want the fastest approach into this industry, direct access in a very, if I would say, a very, quoting many people that come in to the Canadian Lake Home or the Vegas Sandcastle, just an opportunity to experience something that's completely different than a conference, an event, a seminar, etc. And so we've been spending our time over these our weeks and months and now several years doing our Google Hangouts, where periodically I interview one of our clients or I interview a noted expert. And I am really excited to introduce Morgana Rae. And if you are new to our Business Breakthrough Google Hangouts, or if you are a subscriber of Lifestyle Entrepreneur magazine, you're probably very familiar with Morgana. She's had an amazing influence in our last issue, in our October issue of Lifestyle Entrepreneur magazine. And so I thought I would bring her live so you can meet her and you can understand her process to assist you to unlock your untapped wealth that lies within you. And Morgana is an expert in really helping anybody make money, fall in love with themselves. And I'll tell you that starting from scratch in business 12 years ago, I had difficulties with that because I didn't think I was worth it. And I kind of came into business from a job mindset. And if it weren't for me being thrown into a number of different industries where I had to work with very large corporations to help them repackage their intellectual property, their advice, and then help them pitch deals, I probably wouldn't have learned what Morgana is going to reveal to you today and teach you. And I'm here. I've got pen ready. I believe that writing is the doing part of thinking, and I will be taking notes just like I recommend that you do. And I'm excited to have Morgana with us today. Morgana, welcome to our Business Breakthrough Google Hangout. You are live from Los Angeles.
Yay! My pleasure to be here. Hi, thank you for having me.
And I am live from our international office in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada, eh? And I just threw that in for free. So I'm waiting for you to say you're live from Los Angeles,
I am live from
California.
Los
Ah,
Angeles, where it's sunny and warm, and we have the palm trees waving, and I'm wearing a sundress that I picked up in Bali a week ago. Ha
uh,
ha ha ha.
that's great. Let's And one of the things that truly that sets apart Morgana and leaders in this industry is the ability to really have a lifestyle business where it gives you an opportunity to speak your passion. And I know Morgana is really, really excited about what she's going to present to you today. And also just to be able to give back to the entrepreneurial community. And that's why our Business Breakthrough Google Hangout is positioned the way that it is to assist you, no matter where you are in the world, to create a breakthrough with your own business. So, Morgana, let's first start with what my very first question for you, and what does it mean from your standpoint to be irresistible to money?
Hmm. Well, on the most superficial level, it looks like attracting and keeping money. Like when Carolyn Conniff received $87,000 within 12 hours of doing my process, or Elliot Malik, $87,000 within 6 hours. And I have hundreds of these stories. So that's what it looks like on the surface. And also working with people who have vast amounts of wealth but are afraid of losing it, and sometimes they become the bank and people are pursuing them for their money and not because they care about them. That is one of the expressions that I would say of a wounded relationship with money. So on the surface, being irresistibly attracted to money is when you feel loved and secure with money. But what I do that's different from anybody else and kind of weird, which by the way is a really good thing, is the only thing that would work for me after I tried everybody else's excellent programs and did them really well and failed 100% of the time, I had to make money a person and imagine a very personal relationship with money as a person worth having a relationship with regardless of numbers and cash and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm the kind of person who I just care about people more than I care about abstract concepts, and I want to be a good person, and if I feel like money is not being a good person, then I create distance unconsciously. And by the way, that's the big thing, is that I was really spectacular at repelling money and protecting myself from money, and 100% unconscious that I was doing it. So I was getting the millionaire mindset, and I had my vision board, and I had my affirmations, and I was taking all of the business classes, and I took a class on overcoming sales objections, and 7 people in a row, I overcame their sales objections, and they said yes, and none of them showed up, and none of them paid, and that was kind of, whereas my husband would say the wheels just flew off the tracks, and I kind of lost it in a really dark, despairing kind of way. And my only way out was to examine what was going on underneath the surface where I couldn't be with money and why. And my way of discovering that was by imagining money was a person. And when I did that, the person that showed up was so frightening and scary and violent and dangerous and dirty that I was like, oh, wow. I never knew I felt that way about money, but it suddenly made my financial situation after the Ivy League education, after, having a ton of clients with enormous testimonials and the business cards and the brochures and the website and the tagline and doing everything right and making, get this, struggling to make $100 a month. Finally, what didn't make sense on paper made perfect sense because I had this money person who I unconsciously was protecting myself from. And I'm sure Glenn would agree that the unconscious always wins. So the first step is making what's unconscious conscious, because if you are doing everything you're supposed to do and you're working really hard to make money or build your career or have a health breakthrough or have a happy relationship or fill in the blank, and you aren't getting the result you want, there's always a really good reason. And in my experience, you're protecting yourself from what you want, and it's never an accident. So you're not a loser, you're not a bad person, you're not a self-saboteur, you're just a real genius at protecting yourself from what you want, and we need to find out why so that we can change it.
Super, super interesting. From my next question for you, Morgana, is what makes you uniquely qualified to speak on in this area?
Oh, my failure. That's, I think, like that is my client magnet. I just got back from my fourth high-end intimate money goddess Bali retreat. And by the way, none of the women there could afford it or had the money. That's the amazing thing. And I get women from Kazakhstan and South Africa and Thailand and Norway and Italy and Germany and just all over the planet, all 6 continents. And the people who get there are not the people who have the money, but they hear my story and they hear my approach, and they see my track record of results, and they just know, and they do the impossible to get there, which is so inspiring for me as a coach. So what makes me uniquely qualified is I failed at everybody else's stuff and had to come up with something really different that worked for me instantly. Within 24 hours, 4 people hired me at double what I'd ever charged before, and that was just the beginning. So I used to struggle to make $100 a month, and now I have $100,000 months, and they're fun and easy and help a lot of people. So it's, I think, a combination of like my spectacular failure, so I really understand the pain of my people, and a track record of proven results. And because it's my stuff, it doesn't sound like anybody else. It's authentic. It's been tested thousands of times. And my wealth is in my weirdness.
Why is this so relevant from your perspective for today's marketplace?
Well, I've actually been a coach for a really long time. I'm like one of the dinosaurs from the Paleolithic era, and I've been coaching for almost 20 years. And I've coached many thousands of people. And the number one excuse for anything that you can't have, do, or be is money. Money is the big boogeyman. And so the only reason that I lead with my money stuff, besides I do something nobody else can do because I originated it, and by the way, not because I'm a divine genius, but because it kind of happened to me, and then I had to figure out what happened to me and then figure out how to do it with other people. But it's the pain door for the stuff that really matters. But it is the door. And because money touches everything, it touches health and love and family and life purpose and spirituality and environment and the survival of the planet, it touches everything. It's a really great pain door. And it's urgent. I believe the universe gets our attention, and I'm sorry I'm going to get all woo-woo here, even though I'm fundamentally a really practical person, but I believe that the universe gets our attention primarily through money, health, and love. Those are like the 3 top pain areas of life. And we can live for a really long time with health issues. And we can live for a really long time without our soulmate. We cannot live very long without money. It gets our attention so fast. And for that reason, it is the perfect teacher, because it's urgent and we can't ignore it. Yay, what a great place to start.
Morgana, how does your system work for helping entrepreneurs unlock the wealth potential that they have within them so that they can grow their businesses even faster?
Okay. Well, we have circumstances, big, scary circumstances going on. And ironically, when things got the worst in the world is when my business took off. And I saw the same with clients. So I believe we have a global economy and we have a personal economy. And there's only so much we can do as little individuals for the global economy. The best thing we can do is correct our own inner relationship with money. And that has a ripple effect around us on all the people who come into contact with us. When we are operating unconsciously with a bad relationship with money and coming from scarcity, we undervalue ourselves, or maybe we undervalue others. People with great relationships with money, who feel connected to their resourcefulness, who see a challenge and find the opportunity and feel confident. I was talking with a guy in Bali a week ago who was saying that he always knows that there's enough oxygen and resourcefulness for him. And I loved the way he put that. So that to me is like a great relationship with money. When you feel safe, worthy, and lovable, that's when you become generous. That's when you pay other people what they're worth. That's when you model and teach others to have a great relationship with money. And that's how you attract clients and become that shiny object that other people want to be. So how you feel about yourself in the world is like an odor. And it can be really repulsive or it can be really enticing. And so we start with you uncovering why you are protecting yourself from money, personifying it into something real that we can relate to. I have friends who talk about relationship with money, and they talk about relationship with money as energy or a tool or a divine field of abundance, and I don't know how to have a relationship with the divine field of abundance. I know how to have a relationship with a person because that's real to us. And when it's a person, then we can change it. And we can get rid of the relationship that isn't working. I call this alchemy, the transmutation of lead into gold, and replace it with a new relationship worthy of our deepest love and admiration. It just so happens, because I've coached thousands of people, I've noticed some things. That in the beginning, when somebody wanted their new relationship with money to be a dog or a cat or a horse or Gandhi or Oprah or Amma, the hugging saint, I was like, yeah, great. And their results weren't really very dramatic. But when the new money, I call the money honey, was sexy and romantic, that's when people made the big bucks. To date, the biggest record holder is still Tim, who made $1.5 million in 6 weeks. So if you want to go beat him, send me an email and let me, I want us to break that record. When this new relationship with money is real to you, and it's someone you can love and someone who can love you, you're getting rid of all the conflicts about the injustice in the world and your own unworthiness and all that kind of stuff. We got rid of that with the old relationship. With the new relationship, not only do you have your best qualities reflected back to you through the eyes of a lover, which, by the way, is going to do wonders for your romantic relationships too, but when we feel loved as human beings and in love, we show up in the world as our best selves, as our most expansive, generous, noble, optimistic selves. Men, my male clients, tell me that they stand taller. There's something that goes on with their shoulders, and they stand taller. And they feel like they can protect and provide for the people in their lives. Women, we relax, we get soft, we get glowy and radiant. And that's when people are attracted to us, to be our clients, to be our lovers. I had a 70-year-old client who would walk down the street after I coached her, and men would just hand her flowers. And that's also when the weird stuff that I can't explain happens, you know, the money manifestations that come really, really quick. But the real point is really coming back to owning your own self-worth, your lovability, and feeling safe in the world changes the way you interact with the world and the results you get. And the best way that, and most powerful and quick way that I have found to get that result is by making this relationship with money, and by extension your relationship with life, really, really personal and real to you. And we do that by making it a person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. What would you say, and thank you for that, what would you say is the number one mistake that you see entrepreneurs making today when it comes to making money fall in love with themselves?
Okay. There's this whole law of attraction thing going on with magical thinking. If I think of a pot of gold, it'll show up magically in my room. I've never seen that happen. If it works for you, do it. Do whatever works. It worked for me that way. Um, so the mistake that I see over and over and over again is people who are just pouring so much energy into positive thinking when they're about to be thrown out on the street is not appropriate. Yeah, we want to be able to respond positively, but the big mistake that I see is that there is a fear and a rejection of the shadow, of what's really going on, of the problem. And that's the first half of alchemy. In classical alchemy, going back tens of thousands of years, the first step is the blackening. It's called negredio. So when you pretend that everything is okay and you haven't addressed the root causes, it's like putting a Band-Aid on an infected wound. And the poison will just, instead of coming out, it will just turn inward until it kills you, which is a kind of dramatic thing to say, but it's also really true. So putting on a happy face and not taking care of what's really getting in the way, at the very best, is like driving a car with the brakes on. So I invite you to take off your personal development hat for like a few minutes, and your positive thinking and your law of attraction for a few minutes. The law of attraction police are not going to come down and zap you into dust. And really going into the problem and the victim experience and the fear and what's in the way, and making it really huge and making it into a monster. By the way, the person with the biggest monster wins, because the bigger we can create that state of, we're creating polarity. It's like a slingshot. The more you go in one direction, the more tension you have to propel you in the other direction. We're creating leverage. And when you don't go into what's not working, you don't have any leverage to leap over into the other side and make it stick. So I would say that would be the biggest mistake, is just working on the surface, doing all the right actions, but not having your whole psyche, conscious and unconscious, on board.
What my penultimate question to you is actually twofold. First of all, what is the question that no one has ever asked you about around unlocking wealth that you wish they asked you? And what is your answer to that question, Morgana?
Okay. What nobody's ever asked me, and I really wish they would, is what is money for? Because I think that so often people think they treat it like the end result. And I think that causes a lot of pain, and it becomes an addiction. And I think the people on the extreme multi-billion-dollar spectrum are just as sick as the people who have nothing. They're both operating from scarcity. I think that the world would be a much happier place if people remembered what money is here to serve. Because it doesn't exist. It's completely made up. It's just a shared agreement that we're going to say this phone is, you know, worth so much as opposed to that other one. And I believe that money really only exists to serve love, lifestyle, and legacy. because that's what life is about. That is what will make us happy. And when you have no money, you need money. First, most obviously for lifestyle, but it also impacts your love relationships and the legacy you want to leave in the world. Then when I get clients on the other end of the spectrum who know how to make money and they're miserable and they're lonely and they're burnt out and they're doing stuff they hate because they're afraid that they won't have, even though they have hundreds of millions of dollars, they won't have enough to retire. Again, it's really ultimately money only should serve love, lifestyle, and legacy. And that's really all you need is enough to serve that, which may be more than you have or less than you have. But money isn't what is going to make you happy. However, the good relationship with money is going to be necessary for the sake of love, lifestyle, and legacy.
I love it. I love the alliteration there. My last question to you, and we are running out of time here, and I really appreciate. I've already taken 4 pages of notes. What based on your recommendation, what is the first actionable step that you recommend that our viewers take right now?
Well, the first step, and if you go to my website, which is on the screen here at abundanceandprosperity.com, you will find lots of resources to help you. I've got videos, and then I've got a blog, and I want you to start with the Money Monster section. The first step of alchemy is digging up the lead, the blackening. Get to your root cause. Come up with the biggest, baddest, most terrifying money monster, because that is what is necessary to create the momentum and the leverage to swap it for a money honey and a love story for the rest of your life.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Morgana. I really appreciate your words of wisdom, the advice that you've provided today. And we are almost at the end of our Business Breakthrough Google Hangout. And we do this every time we do an intensive. And we have one just around the corner. And we always reserve 1 ticket for those of you that are watching our Business Breakthrough Google Hangouts. And if you're interested in coming into the Canadian Lake Home and you'd like to meet mentors of the magazine, mentors like Morgana and other leaders in the industry who all have high-end programs and services, and you want to connect with those level of entrepreneurs, and or you're interested in the fastest way of positioning your company to position high-end programs and services and really leverage a certification process and a way to leverage your intellectual property through royalties around creating your own private co-branding program or private white label coaching or consulting or training program. You're going to absolutely love what I teach and what I cover. It is 100% proprietary, and you can't find these tools or these systems online today. And much like what Morgana believes in, the high intimacy and connection, I do as well. And we open up the Canadian Lake Home to you, to entrepreneurs that fly in from all over the world internationally. They come into Toronto, and we're an easy drive there. Across the U.S., entrepreneurs fly into Detroit or Flint, Michigan. And again, it's an easy drive to the Canadian Lake Home. And if you're interested and would like to qualify to come, everybody is vetted by me directly based on 5 criteria. And if you would like an opportunity to learn, and the advice that I will provide you has cost me a little over $3 million to provide the advice that I'm going to be covering on the December the 8th intensive. All you need to do is go to newgurumodel.com/one day, and you can get details there, and that is you would be a part of our Christmas at the Canadian Lake Home. And so just newgurumodel.com/one day. and perhaps our paths will be crossing sooner than we've both expected. And if that's you, I really look forward to meeting you. You'll get a chance to meet my family as well. And one of the reasons why I love my model is it gives me a chance, instead of preaching at my kids, gives them an opportunity to be a fly on the wall and listen to what their father espouses in terms of business acceleration and implementation. And everything comes down to implementation today. So please take the concepts that Morgana has taught you. Please make them a part of your life. And the best way of doing that is, as I mentioned at the beginning, writing is the doing part of thinking. Review your notes, summarize them. The next time you go through your notes, take a look at the actionable steps that you're going to create right now in terms of making money and taking a look at money as a person, right? Provide personification to money and see it as a relationship to build, as Morgana mentioned, really focusing on life, lifestyle, and legacy. So Morgana, on behalf, thank you so much for taking some of your time. I know your time is highly valuable and highly tight. Your tight schedule is very tight, much like mine, and I appreciate you giving us some of your time today. Please take the concepts that Morgana has covered and take a look at your own business and your own dreams and your hopes and your aspirations. And I'm here to tell you, and Morgana is definitely, that it is definitely worth rethinking the paradigm that we have about money and about execution. Have a great one, and I look forward to our next Business Breakthrough Google Hangout.